everybody. Welcome again to the Jack Doyle Podcast with Matt Taylor. Of course, he's number 84, former Colt tight end, two-time Pro Bowler Jack Doyle. I'm the Matt Taylor side of things, and we are back again talking about the 6-1 Indianapolis Colts heading into week number 8 coming up against the Tennessee Titans at Lucas Oil Stadium. But the Colts again on their second 3-game winning streak of the season. Jack, how you feeling today, man? It's great to be back with you.
Yeah, thanks, Matt. It's Groundhog Day, right?
In a great way.
In a great way, in the best way. We come in here every week and we talk about a Colts win. We talk about the Colts rolling. I mean, the offensive dominance right now is just so impressive, and I'm just having so much fun watching them. I know I keep saying that, but they're just so fun to watch right
Indeed.
now. The way they're playing, man, it's a lot of fun.
And you find yourself, just like I'm sure countless thousands of people around central Indiana, around town, around Colts Nation, just so much looking forward to watching the Colts, kind of planning your day around those 3 hours every Sunday to get sheer joy and entertainment out of this football team right now.
That's how it's supposed to be, right? I mean, that's what I grew up on, Matt. That's what we know, right?
Indeed.
You plan your day around Colts football, and the Colts are delivering for all the fans out there, and I'm just having a blast, man.
Yep, we've got a lot to get into here on this podcast. We're going to react to why the Colts are so dang efficient and so sharp on offense right now. They've got the best record in the NFL. They are the only team to reach 6 wins in the first 7 games of the season. We'll talk about some of the tweaks that maybe need to be made on the defensive side of the ball. Obviously, the Chargers had to throw their way back into the game, but they never truly got back into the game as the Colts offense just kept stiff-arming them. They're like the older brother there on the playground, just keeping them, kind of at bay, metaphorically speaking. So a 38-24 win for the Colts over the Chargers. And, Jack, I think when you kind of factor in the environment, going back to SoFi Stadium and righting some wrongs from the first visit to Los Angeles at SoFi Stadium, that loss against the Rams, when you factor in the quarterback, an upper echelon guy like Justin Herbert, you factor in the head coach on the other side of the line like the great Jim Harbaugh, proven winner both at the college game and the NFL game, kind of a beautiful offensive mastermind just like Shane Steichen. Jack, so when you factor all of those things in, I thought this was the best win of the season for the Colts.
Yeah, I agree, Matt. Like you said, you put all that stuff and put it all together, and going in playing a hardball team, they're going to be well coached. You got a great quarterback in Justin Herbert. You knew it was going to be a great challenge, and it just looked like the Colts prepared so well, came in there business-like mentality, got the fast start, and just rolled from there, man. It was a great win. I think it was, like you said, Matt, to me it was the most impressive win of the season. You go way out west, long trip, but these guys just look so locked in and ready to play football.
To get a little bit behind the scenes a little bit from a business standpoint, all right, there was a lot of stuff going on politically all over the country over the weekend on Saturday, a big rally in Los Angeles on Saturday afternoon, so the Colts wanted to avoid that.
Yeah.
So what they did was they came in later. They left Indianapolis much later than they typically do, left in the early evening Saturday, got to Los Angeles around, I think we got to the hotel about 8 o'clock Pacific time, which means you're on 11 o'clock Eastern time in terms of your body clock and things like that. And you mentioned the professionalism. You mentioned just the business-like approach the Colts took. They were in Los Angeles because of the late travel for literally less than a day, and they just went out there, and it was a business-like, workman approach, and they just took care of business. I mean, selfishly, I kind of wish they were all like that in terms of the travel, but, just to get in and get out, whoop some tail, and kind of take some names, it was really, really impressive the way they did that.
Yeah, Matt, like you said, we were talking about it before the show, how, they left later, and I would have loved to do that as a player. I thought that, I think that's a great approach. Just go there. You get there, you go to sleep, you wake up, go play some football, come home.
Yeah.
I mean, that's what it's about. That's what we're there to do. We're not there to, you get your meetings, you get your walkthrough stuff done at the facility, back home in Indiana where you're used to doing it and trying to keep it the same. And again, let's credit the veteran leadership of this team and the coaching staff and how they've gathered everybody around and get them ready to play this game and come out to play the way they did. Very impressive.
Do you believe in signature wins? Because what I'm getting at a little bit is if you go back to last year and some years before that, but specifically last year, right, the Colts won 8 games. All of their games, or all of their wins, I should say, were by 1 score. The Colts only beat one team in 2024 that made the playoffs. That was the Steelers. they just didn't have any like marquee confidence booster program changing wins. And I think that's kind of what, in my feeling, that's kind of what Sunday feels like and kind of what it was, in my opinion. Do you believe in those types of things?
Yeah, to a degree. I believe in signature wins. I believe in signature wins if you can handle it the right way. If you can use it as momentum, if you can use it as a confidence builder going into the next week. And the Colts have the locker room that can handle that. They, like I said, they have the veteran leadership. They have these guys are leading the younger guys, saying, "Hey, this is what we expect." Yeah, this is a significant win, and we went down and beat a great Chargers team in a road environment. That's a big win, but it matters what you do with it after. And the Colts have proven that so far this season, and all their great wins, they come back and respond. There's no letdown going into the next week.
Yeah.
I think if you handle it the right way, yeah, there are signature wins in the NFL.
Yeah, no doubt about that. And you see the game so big picture, Jack. You're a very cerebral guy. You understand the tight end position, but you also understand the tight end position as it relates to, how the quarterback needs to see the tight end position, right? I mean, you're a de facto offensive lineman, you're a receiver, you're also, in the head of the quarterback as well. So I say all of that to set you up. You know the game pretty well. What are the tiny details when you go back and watch a game film from Sunday when the Colts put up 38 points and they do it so efficiently against a top 10 defense like the Chargers in the grand scheme of things? What are the tiny details, just a couple of examples that the common fan will not see, will not be able to notice as to why this Colts offense is number one far and away offensively so far this year?
Yeah, watching this offense, the first thing that comes to mind is how unselfish these guys are, as a whole group, right? You talk about a lot with O-linemen, like they got to be unselfish, right? They're blocking for, they don't get a lot of credit and they only get blamed when things go wrong, but it's the whole group that's doing that. And, you see Alec Pierce, taking the top off the defense and opening up a crossing route, coming across with Pitt, or you see Tyler Warren even, there was a couple times he's running a wheel route out of the backfield or from the tight end position, and he's taking two guys with him, and then boom, we're dropping it down to Jonathan Taylor, and he's going full speed while he's doing it. Right. He knows he's probably not getting the ball, but this guy is flying to get his buddy open, right? And that's when an offense is clicking and they all have confidence in their teammates and other guys to come through for them. You see the unselfishness in the way they're playing when they know they're not getting the ball. You see the way they're running to get their guy open, and you see, like you're talking about, Matt, you see how much they understand the concept. So that means Shane's in the offensive staff is doing a great job of explaining the why. Mm-hmm. This is why, you have to take the top off the defense. You have to fly out of there because you're going to open up your guy, and this is the look we're expecting to it. So if you do this, Jonathan Taylor's going to be wide open in the flat. Or Pierce, if you take the top off the defense, here comes Pittman across. He's going to be wide open. So these guys are unselfish. They're doing the little things that you don't notice as a fan, and that's what we see guys running wide open.
I mean, it just feels like schematically they're at another level.
Yeah.
And then execution-wise, with the amount of playmakers that they have, you mentioned Taylor and Josh Downs when he's healthy, and Pittman and Pierce and Tyler Warren being a big-time X factor. I've heard national shows talk about how the Colts offense is so tough to stop because they're marrying things and they're layering things on top of each other. Rick Venturi talks about this as well, on how they're running the same stuff, but formationally it's different. And can you speak on just how the Colts are sort of setting one thing up after another and marrying different plays together based on the things they're running earlier in the game to set up something that's going to happen positively later in the game?
Yeah, and it all starts with Jonathan Taylor and the run game. That's if you can have a run game and you have a guy like Jonathan Taylor who's the MVP in the NFL right now, in my opinion, it's going to set up all those different concepts that we're doing with the little rollouts with Daniel. But again, it shows how much Shane is just locked in. We talk about the players being locked in, but sometimes a play caller gets hot, right?
Yeah.
And, he's NBA Jam, hit a couple threes. He's
on feeling it.
He's on fire right now with the way he's calling these plays.
Must be the shoes.
But again, he's doing, and he's getting the players to buy into that, right? He has to be in that meeting room. Yeah. He's explaining the why. I keep saying that. He's explaining the why so the guys believe, right? And then they're executing, on Sundays. And, yeah, it's just so hard to stop, from a defense. Again, I can't get over just how guys are so open, and it's like I said, it's a credit to Shane, it's a credit to players. It takes everybody for those things to happen. It can't just be, it's not one or the other. But again, I wouldn't want to be a defense coordinator going against the Colts right now.
Yeah, you mentioned Shane Steichen. I think one of the most enjoyable parts of this 6-1 start for the Colts is to see that the national profile and the national perception of Shane Steichen kind of change and evolve into, from a positive standpoint, all right? I mean, it's not like this guy all of a sudden learned how to coach this year. I mean, there's been some inconsistencies around him. How have you seen his play calling and his schemes evolve? I mean, how is this Colts offense better this year with Shane Steichen as a play caller and with Daniel Jones as the quarterback?
Yeah, him and Daniel, speaking of Shane and Daniel, they see football the same way, and that's my observation from watching from afar. These guys are connected, and I feel like Daniel probably already knows what the play call is going to be before it even comes in. They're so connected in the way they're calling plays.
It just seems like there's no training wheels or handcuffs anywhere within this offense.
No, and Shane is an offensive mastermind. I think I've known that all along. I saw that early, seeing him as a head coach here in that first year in 23, and what he did with with Gardner and Minshew and that season. But he doesn't feel reserved in anything he's calling right now. He has complete belief in everybody on the field. Obviously it starts with Daniel in the quarterback position, but the belief in everybody on the field that they're going to execute at a high level. Man, and the guys have to be feeling it right now and be like, yeah, we got a play caller right now. Yeah. So if I want to get open, man, I got to do what I got to do what he tells me.
And he also feels like he can't be stopped.
No,
going forward on fourth down,
the three times early in the game, and just being like.
Honestly, what were you thinking there? I was thinking, let's take the points on the road.
Yeah,
I'm not gonna lie.
Yeah, but it's also like, Matt, they're just rolling right now.
I understand.
Ride it while you're rolling, right? If it had been a little choppy early and, maybe we've already punted or, had some, negative plays, but it was so efficient early. It's like, yeah, we're going to get 1 yard. We're going to get 2 yards.
That's the feeling now within this offense is like the only way we're going to be stopped is if we stop ourselves.
Yeah. Like,
with a drop ball or a penalty.
Penalty or a negative. Like, if every time we get it, it's like, yeah, we're going to go down and score. It's like, and we're scoring touchdowns now, man. It was early in the year. We talked about a little bit of the red zone struggles, but we're putting that ball in the box, man, and it's just awesome to see.
I mean, the Colts have scored touchdowns on 14 of their last 15 red zone
trips. There's the
stat
for it. That's crazy.
Okay, but it gets even weirder though because the only reason why the streak ended is because they ran out of time. They had to kick a field goal at the end of the half.
Well, what a great execution on that drive. I mean, let's hype up Pitt too. So Pitt makes the catch, right? And the new thing is now, so can I nerd out as a player a little bit?
Please.
Right, so
it's your podcast.
Yeah. So the umpire, the ref, umpire used to be behind, with the linebackers, right? But now that they've moved him a few years back, now he's over here back by the head ref. So when you make a catch over the middle of the field and you used to be coached up, hand the ball to the ref right away and hand it. Don't toss it. Don't make them try and catch it because they might drop it and waste more time. So Pitt makes the catch. And the new coaching point now is hand it to the center.
Go give it to
So great job by Bortolini to hustle down there. He met Pitt right when Pitt's getting up. He turns around, hands it to Bortolini. Bortolini sits where they think they're going to spot it.
Yeah.
Waits for the ref to just barely touch the ball, put the ball down. We get it off, spike the ball, kill the clock, and get that field goal executed. That was awesome.
And that's what I said. I mean, a drive like that is not – you don't just like magically do that on game day. That is repped over and over and over. Usually on Thursday or Friday, in a 2-minute simulation. And that just speaks, and I said it on the air, after the Colts get that walk-off field goal, 3 seconds left at the end of the second quarter to go up 20. The Chargers fans are booing their team off of the field. I said on the air, like, the Colts are so stinking well-coached. They drilled that over and over starting in training camp, and it's bled over into the regular season.
Yeah, I think it's – I wanted to mention training camp. Training camp was all about situational football, and I went out there a couple times and seeing how much they just drilled situations and putting these guys in different positions of what you'll get in the middle of a football game.
Right.
And you can just tell they're a well-oiled machine right now and have complete confidence, and there's no panic, right? Everyone just knows their role and what they're supposed to do in every situation, and they're executing so well.
And it brings you so much joy as a football purist. I mean, for those that are in the game every day like yourself, like me. I don't play, but I'm around it. I mean, you just take so much, weird levels of satisfaction when football is played at such a high level.
Yeah, because you've seen it not played at a high level.
Well, yeah, that's true.
And it's so but just around the league or whatever, high school, whatever you want to talk about.
There's been a lot of frustration building into this season.
Yeah, you just want you want people to do the right thing and execute football the way it's supposed to be executed.
No doubt.
And this Colts offense, man. I'm just at a loss of words. I really am. Just
Jonathan Taylor the other week called it poetry in motion.
Yeah,
I thought that was pretty good.
Sure, let's call it that. I mean, it's beautiful. It is beautiful, and it is. I'm having so much fun just as a fan watching them right now.
Like a limerick or can't think of any other types of poetry.
Yeah, we're gonna
limerick
get some stanzas or
there you go. Yeah.
A-B.
I'm not William Wadsworth over here.
No, I don't have much poetry in my background.
Where the sidewalk ends is about the most poetry
Casey
I
at
have.
the bat. Is it, I don't even know if that's a poem.
One final thing on Shane Steichen. How have you seen him be able to evolve not only as a play caller, but we touched on that, but just his ability to handle. I mean, we go back 2 weeks ago against the Cardinals. He gets bad news an hour before the game. His starting corner is out. His backup quarterback is out. So he's got to deal with that. So he's got some roster mechanics and he has to manage the mood and the atmosphere of the team. But he's also calling plays, Jack, and he's handling all of the in-game management situations, the timeouts, the review system, the challenge, all of those things. He's got a lot of balls he's juggling, and in year 3, he's doing a nice job of this balancing act.
Yeah, and I think maybe, there's a growing process in any, he's never been a head coach before, I don't think, right?
Correct.
It's coming in the NFL and you're a head coach. You probably try to do everything yourself early on. This is a complete guess, complete assumption. I haven't talked to Shane about this at all. But yeah, he's got to be leaning heavily on his staff now, and so let's credit the staff. And and there's obviously someone telling him when to challenge that catch no catch or telling him this is the time to take the time out. So he's getting a lot of help. So to take a little bit off his plate, so he can focus on his main role in calling plays. But even calling plays, he's getting advice from O-line coaches and Jim Bob Cooter, and he's getting help, right? So let's give those guys credit and who's helping him along the way.
Yeah, well said right there. Again, that's Jack Doyle, and we got a handful of things to talk about. And I think we're going to split hairs here a little bit, but I want to talk about as it relates. I mean, listen, there's a ton of season left, but as it relates to this season right now, if we had mid-season awards to hand out, who's the MVP of this team on offense? Is it Daniel Jones? Is it Jonathan Taylor? All right, let's split some hairs here, okay? Jones leads the NFL in QBR. He's completing a career-best 71% of his passes. He's completed – you talk about nerdy stats. You ready? He's completed at least two-thirds of his passes and has 200-plus passing yards in each of his first 7 games of the season. He is the first player since at least 1950 to do that. And then Taylor leads the NFL in rushing. He's got 3 games with 3 rushing touchdowns, his 5th such game of his career. He's the first player since 2021 to have 3 rushing touchdowns in 3 games in his first 7, okay? Derrick Henry did it last in the NFL again in 2021. So let's start first with Daniel Jones. Let's just be fair. Let's be democratic. Okay. Make the case for both. Why should Daniel Jones be considered the MVP of this team on offense?
Yeah, the first thing that comes to mind, we're the best team in the football right now.
Yeah.
And he plays the most important position. And the way this offense is rolling right now, can you find a more valuable player than the quarterback, right? I mean, this is the guy getting us into everything. Let's not even talk about, the stats of the completion percentage, the touchdowns, all the yards, all the stuff he's doing, on the field. Let's talk about the in-between plays, right? And getting us in the right play and being efficient on first down. And again, we just don't see a lot of the negative plays. And a lot of that falls on the quarterback and getting us in the right play. So flat out, you're on the best team in football, you're on the best offense in football, and you play the quarterback position, yeah, you're probably the MVP of the NFL, right? I mean, that's the case. That's the first thing that comes to mind when I think of Daniel.
Yeah. I mean, at the very least, offensive player of the year, maybe. Comeback player of the year, considering, his exodus from New York.
Yeah.
That's in the cards as well.
Right.
All right, but devil's advocate, he doesn't have nearly as much time. Play action isn't nearly as effective if he doesn't have Jonathan Taylor. If Jonathan Taylor's not leading the NFL in rushing, if he's not making people miss and spinning out of tackles and getting the edge and getting in the end zone as many times, 10 rushing touchdowns already in the season for Jonathan Taylor, Jack. Daniel Jones isn't Daniel Jones without Jonathan Taylor. So why should Taylor be the MVP of this
Jonathan
team?
Taylor is the MVP of the NFL, right? I mean, everything we're doing offensively is off of Jonathan Taylor and what he's doing in the run game. And let's credit the O-line, man. These guys are – Quentin is destroying people right now. And we got these guys pulling. The schemes are beautiful in what we're doing. And Jonathan, man, he gets on that second level. It's like he's gone. You think it every time. You see him break through that, the D-line linebackers. He hits that second level. It's like no one can tackle him.
He just needs that one little help in terms of a block. He'll do the rest.
And catching the ball out of the backfield too and
yes.
just get, you get him the ball in space as much as you can. I mean, there's no one's playing better in the NFL right now than Jonathan Taylor. And he's my buddy. He's such a great person. Like, it's so fun to watch. I'm so happy for him. And he'd be the first to tell you, I'm it's going well right now, but I couldn't do it without my guys. And it goes back to what we talked about earlier, the unselfishness, like Pitt. I always come back to Pitt and the way he just throws his body in there to go block a safety, man. Wide receivers don't do that, man. And you can tell he cares about his teammates, cares about his guy, and just wants to help Jonathan get a little more, right? Get a few extra yards, right? Jonathan Taylor, man, I'm at a loss of words of what he's doing and what he's done, consistently and through his whole career, man. I mean, this guy's just an all-time great player.
You talk about the unselfishness of the team and the character of the guys. Did you watch the end of the game? Did you catch the TV interview with Daniel Jones afterwards?
Yeah.
A little jab there. I think, Evan Washburn was it's a legitimate question. He's like, hey, around the country, a lot of people didn't expect this from the Colts. They were, you guys are 6-1, taking the NFL by surprise a little bit. What should people know about this team? And Daniel Jones showed a little personality. He said, well, sounds like you guys didn't know very much.
Yeah.
I mean, I kind of like that.
I love it.
And he did it in a very, sharp, tactful way. But, Daniel Jones showing a little personality, a little jab there to the national media.
I love it,
right?
Man. He's putting in the work, and he's putting in the work with his guys. And I don't think that's Daniel personally saying that, selfishly about himself. He's talking about his teammates, right? This guy cares about his teammates. He's saying, hey, man, you guys were discrediting my teammates, so I'm going to have my teammates back, right? And that's what you want from the the quarterback position. That's what you, as a leader of the team, naturally from the quarterback position, that's your role. So I know the guys in the locker room are loving that, and just it's something, build the confidence. Let's keep the momentum rolling.
Right.
Let's keep connecting as a locker room, I thought that was really cool to see.
No doubt about it, and I think that's a natural transition. Let's segue into this because again, around the water cooler before the season, right? Let's rewind to late July. The Colts are reporting for training camp. Let's be honest, okay? Most Colts fans, there wasn't a lot of hype around this team. There wasn't a lot of buzz, right? I mean, you're coming off of 4 straight years of missing the playoffs. I mean, before, I think, what was it, after the second preseason game, we had to wait until then to find out who the starting quarterback was going to be, right? It was still this battle between Anthony Richardson and Daniel Jones in training camp in the preseason. So going into the season, we didn't know who the starting quarterback was going to be, kind of lukewarm expectations. Here the Colts are kind of in this NFL purgatory land of the NFL where they're not making the playoffs, but they're not a 3-win team. They're not a 2-win team. They don't have, a top 5 pick in the upcoming NFL draft, all of these things. But here they are. Again, they've got the best record in the NFL, 6 wins out of 7. They're 5-0 against the AFC. They lead the AFC South. They lead the AFC as a conference in the playoff pecking order as of right now. That's a big setup, Jack, to ask you, is it time, here we are in the season, is it time to start thinking about kind of recalibrating our expectations of what this season could be? Big things could happen this year for the Colts.
Yeah, but first, doesn't that feel like a lifetime ago?
It does.
Again, it's only a couple months ago.
And I'll raise my hand too. Like when I did talk shows in the summer and people asked me about, hey, what do you expect from the Colts? I said, I have no idea.
Yeah.
I have no idea what to expect. And selfishly, it goes back to, I looked back a couple of years ago in 2022, your first year out. Here comes Matt Ryan, and the Colts look so sharp in training camp.
Yeah.
And then all of a sudden, that was, people got fired and
Yeah.
you missed the playoffs. So, like, after that season, I said, I'm not going to make expectations anymore and base things off training camp, because until you start playing regular season games,
you don't know.
You just don't know.
You don't know. I mean, it feels like a lifetime ago, Matt, but I do think we need to raise the expectation. We have the best record in football. I mean, the point differential is crazy
Plus
right now.
92.
92.
Yeah.
I mean, it's crazy. We are dominating these teams.
Yeah.
We are dominating in the NFL right now. The one loss, was a tough loss that, you hurt yourself, right?
That's what I'm saying.
I mean,
it wasn't even really a Rams win. It was a Colts loss.
I mean, we should be – and I know these guys are taking it 1 week at a time.
Right.
But, again, we don't have to talk like that on this show because, I'm not playing or anything like that. It should be, hey, let's go win the conference, right? That's the goal. Let's go get home field. The expectation has changed, right? We've put ourselves in we put ourselves in or gave ourselves a great opportunity, and we've earned that, right? With the way we played. Let's not mess that up. Let's keep those momentum rolling, taking it 1 week at a time, and let's get some home playoff games, man. Like, you kidding me? Like you're talking about, Matt, that's like what we grew up on. Like,
Yep.
the atmosphere and these fans will be. I mean, Lucas Oil will be nuts, man. Envisioning, we're not trying to get ahead of ourselves or anything like that. But, yes, let's raise the expectation and let's take it 1 week at a time. But, man, we got a team that can do it. We can go win the conference and get home field advantage.
But how hard is that to do? Okay, the reality is the Colts have built up some wiggle room. They've got a margin for error. That's something that they just haven't flat out had the luxury of the last couple of years. How hard is that to do, to come out? I mean, you're playing the Titans this week. We're going to talk about that in just a minute. They're 1-6. Okay, the Colts are, let's face it, they're a 14-point favorite at home. How do you not get complacent when you have 4 wins on the season by at least 14
Yeah,
points?
the veteran leadership, because these guys have been through it. A lot of these guys on the team, we played that game where we were 14-point favorites down at 21 down in Jacksonville that we lost, right? So these guys have, they have those losses. They have those those times,
scars.
Those scars where it didn't go our way, right?
Mm-hmm.
And so hey, let's and they haven't shown it yet, right? They've come out every single game fast and businesslike and ready to roll, man. We really haven't seen a letdown yet, and why would I expect anything less? But it's a credit to Shane and the coaching staff and getting these guys ready week by week, because that's what the NFL is. Yeah. No one cares what you did last week, but you can build off that momentum if you do it the right way. So I think these, the Quentin Nelsons, the Zaire's, DeForest, Grover, these guys are going to lead us the right way and know that, hey, this is a 1 week at a time. Let's stay in the moment. And let's put our best foot forward, going into, playing Tennessee at home.
All right, with the expectations being there and things being recalibrated. By the way, congratulations. Jack Doyle just got his own talk show on the radio, okay? So this is the Jack Doyle Talk Show, 3 to 6, drive time every day, all right, Monday through Friday. I'm caller Matt. I've just called 239-JACK, J-A-C-K. All right, hey, Jack, this is a first-time, long-time, right? First-time caller, long-time listener. Hey, Jack, we're 6-1. Trade deadline's coming up, man. We got to make a move. This is our chance. This is our window of opportunity, man. What would you do to this team? How would you, bolster it? What moves would you make around the trade deadline to make sure we got a run at the playoffs in the top spot in the AFC?
Yeah, Matt, thanks for calling. I'm
going to hang up and listen.
Yeah, appreciate you listening. No, but yeah, I think we do. We're buyers, man. We got to go. Let's go. And if I'm thinking of a move, or a position, obviously you want to get, I think the young DBs, the young corners are really competing at a high level. Yeah, we gave up too much, but these guys are playing their tails off, and hopefully we can get some guys back from injury, and the ball will kind of start bouncing our way as far as the injury bug when it comes to the back end.
Yeah.
I'd like to see a little more out of the edge as far as pass rush goes.
Yeah.
It's hard to find a guy, right? I mean, it's really hard to find a guy who can affect a game from the
at this
edge.
stage, yes.
Yeah, and I think, again, if we can get some, a little more pressure, I think, DeForest balled out this last game. I want to mention that too. But if we can get a little more from the edge, that's going to help the back end, right? Those yin and yang, that's how that works. You get more pressure on a guy, you get there a half second earlier, it's easier to cover on the back end. So, That's what, Chris and all those guys are, Chris Ballard I'm talking about, and all those guys are talking about right now is, how can we help this team? And again, you owe it to the guys in the locker room. They've earned this, right? They've earned it by the way they've started this season. So let's go all in and maybe make a move.
But that's the reality of it, right? I mean, the last 2 games, the Colts on defense, they've allowed 400-plus yards to both the Cardinals and the Chargers. They've allowed 845 total yards in those 2 games, 740 passing yards in those 2 games combined to Jacoby Brissett and Justin Herbert. And last week, the Colts, they had 2 defensive ends go out in the middle of the game, Tyquan Lewis and Samson Ebukam. Don't know about their status for Sunday's game against Tennessee just yet. But they sacked Herbert 3 times, but they didn't come until the 4th quarter. Right, so that's a ton of passes. That's over 100-plus pass attempts in the last couple of games, Jack, and not too many, as Rick Venturi likes to say, not too many, first wave sacks where it's just a defensive end coming off the edge,
just winning,
and getting the quarterback down in the pocket. What is the state of this pass rush right now as it relates to where the Colts are and maybe how aggressive they need to be coming up in the trade deadline?
Yeah, when you're playing on offense the way we're playing, right, and we're going to be playing with the lead a lot, what are teams going to do? They're going to be forced to pass the ball. So that's what we've kind of seen the past, not even the Cardinals game. That was kind of a back-and-forth game. But this week, you took away the run game from the Chargers, who want to run the ball, right? I mean, this is
they weren't afforded to run the ball.
They couldn't. They were down 2 scores basically the whole game, right? So, a hardball team always wants to run the ball. So we're going to be playing with the lead. We've proven that, right? We're leading the league in points scored. We're dropping almost 40 every game, it seems like. So teams are going to pass, and you think back to those old 2000 Colts, they knew that too, right? They played with the lead a lot. They had Dwight Freeney and Robert Mathis coming off the edge, right? Yep. So I think adding an edge rusher and just helping those guys and those guys rotate in a lot. So getting those guys fresh so they can get, they know it's it's a passing down and they can really tee off on these guys. And again, I think DeForest and Grover and I'm slipping on his name right now. Who's the other young D tackle?
Adetomo Adebawore.
That's why I slipped on his name because I didn't know how to say it. But yeah, I think those guys are doing a good job inside, and DeForest got some more singles this week. I don't know, and again, I don't know if that was kind of schemed up by Lou. It's kind of hard to tell when you're just watching. But he definitely had more one-on-ones and took advantage of them, right? He was getting pressure even, before he got those 2 sacks in the 4th quarter. But I just think we need more out of the edge. And you need a couple of those. I mean, I can think of back when I played and you would see a DN that's just a game changer, and it just takes 1 or 2, right? 1 or 2 in a game to throw an offense off and stop a scoring drive.
A strip sack.
It's huge.
A
it's
big
huge.
third down
and
sack.
Again, when we're going to be playing with the lead, like we've proven, like we've shown, teams are going to pass it. So let's help out the back end by improving on the front end.
But I think that's sort of what you're getting right now from the Colts, right? They're giving up high volume.
Yeah, and a lot of that's because we're up 2 scores.
Well,
right?
That's true.
Yeah.
But I think my point is, though, I think this is sort of without Charvarius Ward and without a true, I call it stud, like a guy that no matter what, at the end of the year, he's going to get his 12 to 13 sacks, and when the game's on the line, no matter if he's going up against a premier left tackle or if he's double teamed, he's still going to make a play. All right, guys like that don't grow on trees.
No.
Okay, there's only a handful of them. That's why they get paid what they get paid. That's why they never hit free agency. But my point is, especially again in the secondary, with it being as banged up as it is, and you're asking guys like Mekhi Blackman and Jonathan Edwards to take on the roles that they have right now, the Colts just have to be crunch time, big playmakers, right? Against the Cardinals, they get the huge 4th down stop around the goal line. In this game, they get the 3 big sacks against Justin Herbert. They get the 2 takeaways in plus territory. They get the 4th down stop. Yeah, Lou Anarumo's trying. You can see he's throwing the kitchen sink schematically at these defenses, but right now he just doesn't have the horses that he needs, especially in the secondary. But so long as the Colts offense is doing what they're doing, and making the other team play from behind, that allows the defense a little bit of wiggle room. And as long as the defense is clutch playmakers in the 4th quarter, which they have shown themselves to be, then I think you're going to be okay. I'm not saying, living on the edge like that won't inevitably come back to bite you, but this is sort of who and what the Colts defense is as of right now.
Yeah, like you said, Matt, they're getting the stops when they need them, right?
Yeah.
And there was that time in this past game, the Chargers, were they're kind of driving, we're up 2 scores, and it was kind of like I remember watching it, and I was like, man, we really need to get a stop here and just kind of put this one to bed. We're kind of letting them hang around, and we did, right? We forced the 4th in forever or whatever, and get the stop. So. Again, they've been I'm going to mess up on the word, but they've taken advantage of the
opportunistic.
Opportunistic,
Yeah.
There it is.
Easy for you to say.
No, not at all. And so they've taken advantage. They've made the plays when they need to make the plays, right?
Sure.
And again, Matt, you don't want to rest on that, like you're saying, and you don't want that to bite you in the butt later.
Yeah.
But let's roll with it a little bit, right? And keep playing the way we're playing. But again, let's think about improving in ways we can, get after the quarterback a little more.
That's where the trade deadline stuff might come into play. It's November 4th,
by
the way.
When is it?
Yeah, it's coming up. It's a week later than it used to be. I think the NFL owners decided that's better operation going forward. So again, November 4th, 4:00 Eastern time. That's when the trade deadline will be here. We'll see how active the Colts are trying to improve this roster after a 6-1 start. All right, we close out the podcast with a little fun segment. We do it every week. If you're new to the show, we call this "You Don't Know Jack." We're going to get to know, I should say, Jack Doyle a little bit better off of the field. Know him more than just a former Colts player wearing number 84. So this week's question, Jack, is: what are you listening to? What are you listening to in the car these days? And if you're in the car by yourself, what are you going to be listening to that might make you, kind of flirt with getting a speeding ticket? You got that foot on the gas pedal. You're jamming, you're rocking out a little bit, going a little fast down I-65 here.
Yeah, well, hey, I don't know if you've been up on I-69, on the north side. They're taking pictures.
It looks like.
Have you heard about this?
I wish I brought it. I have one.
I have one. I got warned, and then I got one.
Oh, you did?
Yes, I got one.
No.
So I had to pay.
No, the computer got you.
Oh, the picture got me.
Oh, dang, man.
Golly. So
I got one. I got one going up that way, headed towards training camp.
Yeah.
One day in July, I think it was. I went up the east side, right around 69 at Allisonville Road.
Yeah.
Yeah, I got a little
warning. That's
right.
That's where we're at, basically. So I'm avoiding it at all costs now. But anyway, so
Jack Doyle's public service announcement right there.
Watch out.
You had to pay the fine.
They're taking pictures. No, so I'm a big Eric Church guy. So I've been a huge Eric Church guy since college.
Okay.
Right? I've been all in on him. I missed him. I wanted to go. He was just here. I think it was October 9th, I think. I think I'm saying the right date. And I wanted to go, but wasn't able to make it. But have seen him here.
Not a huge country guy.
No.
But I love Eric Church, and 17, I think is a genius song.
Yeah, he is.
It is so well crafted. The lyrics in that song are beautiful.
He is. He does. He has a ton of songs like that.
Yeah.
He's just great. Again, I've loved him since it's kind of that rock, country.
Absolutely.
So I've loved Eric Church for a really long time, and got to check him out here. He was here way back in maybe 2016, and it was one of the best concerts I've ever been to. Brian Schottenheimer was. He was in the. We were in a suite. But Brian Schottenheimer was in the suite over. He came over, so got to hang out with Schotty at that concert. But we had a ton of fun seeing him. Who else do I like? I'm big on Tyler Childers. That's kind of my new go-to here.
Outlaw
lately.
country a little bit.
So that's kind of my lane.
Okay.
It doesn't feel like I'm in the car by myself very often though, Matt. There's always something back there.
I
don't know if it's little Leona, chatter and play. I try to. I heard this one time with kids is don't introduce them to the toddler songs. Just show them good music from the beginning, so they don't even know that these
no Kid Bop.
There's no Twinkle Little Star, like that. Those songs don't even exist.
Yeah.
They don't even know. So I'll blame the preschool for introducing those to her because I try to avoid.
Jack Doyle's rocking a baby in the bag, listening to Aerosmith.
Yeah, let's go. Let's rock out. They have they should never know that toddler songs exist. The toddler tunes. That's the album that always comes up. So if my advice, if you're a new parent thinking of having kids, don't introduce them to toddler songs. Just show them the music you like. They'll like that too.
Absolutely. Yeah, the apple does not fall far from the tree in that case, right?
No.
And you're a pickup truck kind of guy, I mean,
pickup truck always.
Eric Church, I mean, this guy's a compliment. Eric Church suits you.
Yes,
he's kind of who you are, man.
Yeah, he's the man.
He speaks to the soul of Jack Doyle.
Yeah, I grew up on, my dad's pickup truck guy, as you might expect, and grew up on the 90s country, so
I'll
still go.
Marshall Tucker.
I'll still go back to that. That's gonna
Travis Tritt.
Oh, here we go, man. It's awesome. Randy Travis. There's
Randy Travis. Yeah.
Garth Brooks does a good job. They Alan Jackson. I go 90s country all day. That's kind of like makes me feel like a kid. Riding with my dad again. Some good memories. So I like to go back to that.
Well, you and I will have to hang out one day on a Friday. So my Friday routine, if I'm at home. I ended up buying about 4 years ago. I hawked an old jukebox that plays 45s, right?
Yeah.
The records,
Yeah.
right? Like the singles.
Yeah.
It plays only 45s, and the jukebox used to be in a country bar down in southern Indiana.
Oh, wow.
So it is littered with 90s country music.
Oh,
brother.
I can only imagine.
Yeah, it is absolutely on fire every Friday night.
Oh, that's awesome. Yeah, my dad's from southern. My grandfather's from southern Indiana,
Sure.
Lagodi. So he was raised up on.
Hell,
that.
it might even be that bar.
my grandpa.
It's got a cigarette stain on the.
My grandpa
might.
Yeah, my grandpa might have. Might have used that jukebox. And
that's all right.
Yeah, that's all good.
Yeah,
all
it
good.
still takes quarters.
Oh,
Yeah, you get 5 songs for 50 cents.
Dude, that is awesome.
Hell yeah,
man. That's awesome.
That's living right there.
Yeah,
man.
it
The
is.
little things in life.
Have you had to fix it or anything? It's still just
no.
like,
It's still purrs.
They just don't make it like they used to, man. No,
and you know me, I'm an old soul. I like
Yeah.
the vintage stuff.
That's
all
so
right?
cool,
So,
man. That's so cool.
Yeah, you come out, hang out with me.
Yeah,
in the
well, I'm in.
summertimes.
What are you doing Friday?
Every Friday in the summertime, out in the sunroom, we got the back deck going. The kids are out playing,
Oh.
and here's Maytay drinking a beer, listening to Randy Travis.
That is your happy place.
Yep.
That is your happy place.
And the Eagles and Leonard Skinner for sure.
Oh, that's awesome.
Jack Doyle right there. That's you do not know Jack, and that's going to do it for this edition of the great Jack Doyle Podcast. It is the Colts and Titans coming up. We're already in week 8, and the Colts are going for the season sweep over the Titans for the 3rd straight year. We'll see if they can get it done on Sunday at Lucas Oil Stadium, and we'll be back next week, of course, breaking it all down, putting things into perspective on the latest and greatest with the Indianapolis Colts. For Jack Doyle, I'm Matt Taylor. Thanks for watching. Thanks for listening, and we'll see you next time on the Colts Podcast Channel.